Hey, this is Adrian from Zazuko. In this video I want to show you how you can get your own Kubernetes cluster configuration into Blueprint. This is something we started doing internally because our DevOps colleague Ludovic thought it would be a cool idea. And I think this is a very cool idea because we can really look at the whole configuration as a graph, and this totally makes sense for something like Kubernetes. I just show you a little bit of what we have in our instance. So I'm here on a Kubernetes namespace. I can see some context here. I see the ingress, the host, the deployments. I see which images I use here, which Docker images, and so on. So I can really browse the stuff in a bit nicer ways, or I can go through the graph and explore it in the graph view. Obviously, we want to have more specific views in here, so like this one here. So if you have some ideas on what you would like to see based on this data, please let us know, so maybe we can implement it. But when you go to search, you would see this. So in our case, I select the cluster before here. I went via this cluster here, Dave from DigitalOcean. So then on context, I start to see these things. So what do we have to do to get the data in here? In the previous video, we saw how we can set up the images itself, the Blueprint demo, and in the default configuration, you simply get the full demo dataset that's configured here via this profile. Now we want to create our own triples. We want to create triples from our Kubernetes cluster configuration, basically from our live cluster. And the easiest way to play with that is to go to Docker Desktop and make sure that you have enabled Kubernetes. If you don't have that, you can enable here. It will create you a local Kubernetes cluster, and after a while it will be ready here. So I already did that. I don't have to do that anymore. So basically I can just go in here. And we want to go down here. So this one is without the Kubernetes cluster, but we have one. So we use an existing Kubernetes cluster, and we basically just have to run these commands here. So as before, I'm in the stack directory, and I already created the directory here. So I just have to run this command. Let's try that. Okay, that already returned. So in this file here, I should see some data now. This was empty before. Yeah, I do see some Kubernetes data. So it quickly spins up a test Kubernetes instance so that you get some data in it and you can load that in instead. If you do have your own cluster, you can just switch the context. You go to your Kubernetes context and you switch to whatever cluster you have. You run the same command again and it will dump your cluster configuration into this file. So once you have that, you can simply load it to Fuseki via the commands explained here, and then you should see your own cluster in the demo instance. If this is useful for you, let us know. We are, as I said, especially interested in knowing what you would do with it. Contact us if you would like to know more.